Hi, thanks for tuning in to Mental Health at Home. This video series is a partnership between NAMI, Juneau, and the Juneau Suicide Prevention Coalition in recognition of Mental Health Awareness Month in May. I'm Jackie Campbell, and I'm going to be talking about fostering a sense of security in yourself and in relationships with others. And I'll be drawing from the work of Diane Poole-Heller, who is a psychologist specializing in attachment and trauma, and Rick Hansen, who is a neuropsychologist. So I'd like to talk a little bit about neuroplasticity, which is the brain's innate ability to heal itself. Neuroplasticity is part of our nervous system, and it has an amazing ability to heal and form new neural networks. And I'm going to be talking about some ways that you can foster that ability to build new neural networks in your brain through some different exercises that can be done by yourself and with others. So one of the first exercises I want to talk about is listening deeply and practicing presence when we're with another. So this can be done with a partner, with a family member, with someone that you're trying to get to know better. But when we take the time to set aside our worries and concerns, and we're intentionally holding the space for the other person, that can foster a sense of connection. And also, we're listening to them, even if we might disagree with their position. We're working toward maintaining our sense of inner calm and just holding space for them. And we can take this a step further by practicing something called attunement, which involves listening, presence, and compassion. So we're holding what they have to say, but in a way that makes them feel that they're not alone, that you're truly with them in this experience. And we do this by asking questions, by drawing them out, so they feel like you're really trying to get them, to understand them. And we can also do this with ourselves by approaching our own emotions with curiosity and compassion, and working toward not being judgmental or critical of ourselves. Another way we can foster a sense of relationship security is to engage in joint attention. So we're doing things together. With springtime in Alaska right now, there's so much beauty with the forest changing, and there's a wonderful intertidal to explore. There's things you can do in the home, like cooking, cleaning, maybe trying a new recipe together. And when we engage in eye contact or touch or ask each other questions, that can really help deepen the experience. And another thing that we can do that's just part of our everyday experience is to maintain contact. So if someone calls you, you try to call them back in a timely manner, or if someone texts you, you try to respond promptly. So it really helps build trust in a relationship and helps foster that sense of security. Now, it is important that for people that we see very routinely that we don't keep score, because that can get in the way of building that sense of connection. Another thing that we can do to build security is to be mindful of comings and goings. So when someone enters our space, we're mindful of how we receive them, and also when they go, we're intentional about our response. So we're really sending the message that we care about this person, that we want to engage with them, and that they mean something to us. In terms of the activities that I was talking about earlier, it's really also a good idea to try new activities together. Try not to automatically assume that you know everything there is to know about your partner. We can get into ruts sometimes in relationships, and when we try new activities together, it can keep the relationship alive and interesting. And I also want to talk about the importance of repair. That's one of the most essential things we can do to keep our relationships strong. So it's so normal to have conflicts in relationships. We all make mistakes. We all get into touchy areas with partners or other family members, friends. But when we repair those conflicts, in a respectful way, it can build intimacy in a relationship. And when we ignore those conflicts, it can really lead to pile up and oftentimes resentment in a relationship, which creates more emotional distancing. I also want to talk about some ways that we can build more internal security. And one of those ways is by attending to good experiences in our life. So when we have a good experience, we really notice it, we hang on to it. Maybe we cooked a meal and it really turned out well, and so we just savor that. Maybe we got through a batch of bills and that we'd been avoiding for a while, and we let ourselves notice the good feeling that completing this project has. When we notice these good experiences and really let ourselves stop and pause and hold on to that feeling for a bit, it can help create more of a positivity bias. So our brains and our emotions are more likely to attend to more positive experiences when we notice them consistently. They can be so tempting to get into this negativity bias, to notice the problems in our life, to hang on to the worries. And when we develop more of a positivity bias, it can help quiet that negative voice. Another thing that we can do to build more internal security is to notice caring behaviors. So when someone does something that's kind to you, towards you, whether it's somebody who's close to you in your inner circle, or maybe it's someone who's a stranger. Maybe a stranger holds the door open for you, or waves at you, or just gives you a nice smile. Let yourself notice that. Let yourself take it in. For some of us, it can be kind of challenging to take in these positive experiences because maybe we weren't raised in an environment where that was really fostered. So it's important to take this slowly. Let yourself, if we take it slowly, we will gradually increase our ability to absorb these positive experiences. And Rick Hansen has this saying that I really like. It's called, let yourself take in just 1% more of it. Just 1% more of it, and that can help you ease into this practice of noticing caring behaviors. Another thing that we can do to build internal security is to be aware of and enhance our own resources. So resourcing can be so vast. Resourcing can be noticing the positive qualities that you have inside of you. Maybe you have a strong work ethic, or maybe you have a good sense of humor. Just noticing and remembering, hey, I have these qualities. Resourcing can also be something outside of yourself. So it can be something from nature, like a special spot that you like to go to. It can be a tree. It could even be an animal, a wild animal whose qualities you appreciate, or it could be a pet. But when we connect to these special places in nature, it can give us a deeper sense of our connectedness to the land, which is a wonderful way to build more internal security and increases our personal resilience. Resourcing can also be something from our spirituality. Maybe it's a symbol, a spirit, or God. It could be a person that we admire. So when we connect to our resources, stop and pause, let ourselves notice the emotions that come up. Maybe there's a body sensation that comes up when you connect to your resource. Maybe there's a thought or an image that comes up when you connect to your resource. Let yourself take it in, stay with it for a while, and it's a great way to increase that internal security. Finally, I want to talk about knowing who you are, like being able to put your story together, your life story, in a coherent and cohesive manner, in a way that makes sense to you. So you're acknowledging the good parts, and you're also acknowledging the bumps in the road and the hard parts. But when we put that story together and maybe share it with a person that we trust, it can help us feel more grounded in who we are. So it might be an idea to practice maybe one or two of these things and see how it goes. And it is important that these ideas are practiced, that they're practiced over and over. And with time, we can really grow in our sense of security within ourselves and in our relationships. So I'd like to thank you for listening today. If you'd like to contact me, my information is at junomentalhealth.org. And also, I know that even though there's been distance between us during the pandemic, we can still reach out and connect. And there's a resource called the Care Line where you can talk to somebody 24/7. And if you or a loved one are in a mental health crisis or you just need someone to talk to, their number is 877-266-HELP, or you can text HOME to 741-741. Thanks for listening.